Welcome, fam, to the week 6 recap of the 2024 season of the FFFL. I am joined by none other than Tyler. What's happening, man?
Not much, just up here in Canada for a work trip, ready to do this podcast. So,
You don't say, eh? So we were talking slightly just before this about Canada and what your thoughts were because this is your first time in Canada.
yes, it
So
is. Never been.
So did you already have a passport? Like,
Yeah, I did. I had gone to Mexico like over a year ago
okay.
for a vacation with my girlfriend. So I had the passport.
Okay, so you had that, you were ready to go for that.
Yeah.
Canada, slightly different than Mexico, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
not quite as warm up here.
No, especially right now, it's probably cold, man. It's like
Yeah, it's cold.
it was like
So,
40 degrees this morning when I was
but
walking the dogs. Like, man, that was kind of sucked. But you saying this is your first time in Canada, and you were also saying that it just kind of reminds you in a sense of America at that point.
yeah, like it, I don't know what I was expecting coming here, but it looks very similar, at least where we are to America. So,
Yeah. What were you expecting, I guess? Because I mean that's true. I've been to Canada once. We went once. So I'd like to hear what you were expecting. I'll tell you what I was expecting, and then we can go from there.
I feel like everyone just kind of over glorifies like Toronto. So I don't know if I was expecting like it to look similar to that, but like it just looks, I don't know, very similar to like a suburb of Indy from where I'm from here. So
I thought the same, man. So when I
yeah,
went, we went to Winnipeg, so it's not like, you know, a big city, but Winnipeg is a big city for them. I mean, it's a city feel, but it's kind of like an older, I would say, city from what I could tell when we went, but it seemed very spread out. And to your point, like it just feels very much like it's just America. Everybody speaks English, so it's not
yeah,
as though you're
exactly.
in this weird foreign country. And I was with you. They speak about, Toronto and Montreal and these places. So I started to think like, oh, they're gonna be like speaking French a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I was so ignorant.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was just super boring where I
yeah,
was at. Nothing. It was a more expensive America.
yeah,
That's what it felt like.
yeah.
So,
It's basically what it feels like. It's
so you,
it's cool though.
where did you go eat though? Because that's where I'm also curious. Is like, where did you eat? Because you had a company dinner that you went to before this.
Um, we ate at some like local bar and grill right here. It's like state something is what it's called, but I just got a steak and
Okay, on
some
the
vegetables
company,
and
so you
mashed
gotta go
potato.
for the steak.
Yeah. So I had to. Someone else got a steak, another person got like salmon. Everybody's eating good here.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah, right. No
yeah.
poutine? You didn't get a poutine yet?
A what?
A poutine? You don't know what a
What is
poutine
a
is?
poutine? I don't know.
Okay,
Culture
well,
me.
first off, you have to get a poutine before you leave Canada. It is not,
Okay.
it's a very American thing in my mind. Like it's like a bed of fries with like cheese curds and gravy. Like that's basically what a poutine is.
Ooh, that sounds good. Delicious.
Yeah, exactly. So it
Yeah.
feels very America. Like that feels like the
Yeah.
most American fucking thing. Potatoes, cheese, gravy. That feels very America. But that's
Yeah.
basically the gist of a poutine. Um, Others may tell me I'm wrong, but that's pretty much what it is. So make sure you get one of those because I mean they're delicious. I I don't
I'll,
understand why
I'll
it's
have to
not like a thing
see where
here.
those are.
I would think at that
Yeah.
bar and grill they gotta have a poutine. They gotta, but maybe not. I don't know. It's like a very bar and grillish type of thing, so it's not like a fancy thing. But but yeah, that does make me wonder like why it's not more popular here in America.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, are you losing me? Because I'm about to lose you. So Tyler's on the shitty hotel internet. It's what he said.
Yes, it's The internet here is abysmal, but we're getting through it.
Yes, the as you said, the Staybridge Suites. So
Yes.
I mean, I don't. Here's what I'll say. Being in hotels for as long as I was, they're fine. I don't know. Like I think it's like a step above like the
Th-
comfort and the days in and all those, but maybe
I mean, this one's pretty nice. I
yeah,
like it.
it's a sweet. Like
I
they
have no
got
complaints.
yeah, so it's fine. I don't think there's anything too wrong with that. Like even the Marriott products, like I guess it'd be like between the days in stuff and Marriott. Like
Well,
then there's like this the Stay Bridge right there. So Tyler,
okay.
I know that you're in and out, so we're gonna try to make this go quickly for everybody. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick off and share my screen. Are you ready to like rock and roll with this stuff?
I am. Let's roll it. Roll the tape.
Okay, okay, we're gonna do it. Ooh, look at that fancy background I got on my computer.
Oh,
Very nice. All right, let's get this slideshow on the road. From the beginning, the week 6 recap in our 2024 season. We're going to do it like we always do. Start with our ass whooping of the week and move down to the nail biters. We had a couple, including you and I. Then we'll get into our injury report
yes.
with Dr. Sam. We'll hit the waiver wire what to do's. We'll then go to Trade Central if we had any. Um, Javante or Godwin, recurring segment all year. Then comment of the week, and then we'll finalize with week 7 matchup. So I obviously did not adjust that part of the slide, but I'll do better next time, everybody. So let's go right into it.
We
We're going to
we
talk about
appreciate that.
yeah, I'll try. I got to get better. We only had one ass whooping this week, and it was a weird ass whooping because I felt like it was an ass whooping just because one side just didn't come to play the game of football this week, and that was
Yeah.
Sam Suckadicka, who they were number one and they still are number one in the West. But man, I think that's the lowest point total of the year so far at just over 54 points and lost by almost by 53 points to Louis. What's one thing that you took away from this as the reason why Sam maybe his team shit the bed?
Well, we get a connection.
Oh, are you there? I can hear you, so that part's good. Are we there? Hello.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what's one thing that you noted in this matchup as to why Sam may have lost by so much to Louis?
Well, um, yeah, looks like lots of players just hardly scored. So, I mean, go down the list, but um, Jerome Ford, yeah, 1.8 points. That's not going to get it done. Goddard with zero. I don't, did he get hurt or he just literally
He
didn't get
did.
any
He did.
receptions? I
He
don't
got
know,
hurt.
but
He got hurt early. Yeah, Sam kind of had
but
multiple injuries early because I think Ford got hurt early, Goddard got hurt early,
yeah,
and even Calvin Ridley with his 1.1. He had 8 targets. The ball was thrown to him 8 times, zero catches in those 8 targets. He got his points because he ran the ball one time for 9 yards. So that's how Calvin Ridley even has a
okay.
1.1 point. So that tells you how bad maybe Will Levis is. I don't know. It's very bad.
Oh, dude, he's terrible. He looks like a goofball out there every game.
Yeah, and they're gonna play him because I think they're just trying to find out whether or not he can play the game of football at the NFL level. So that's why he's gonna be there all season as long as he's healthy. But plan for Tennessee to have a new quarterback next year based on how this is going so far. And the only other thing that I noted, Tyler, was that Tampa Bay's defense played really well. They had a touchdown in the game. They had multiple turnovers. I think the reason they gave up as many points as they did was more in like the first half, the first part of the game, but then after that, it just was not going well for the Saints. So Sam chalked this up as just, yeah, we just got to wipe our hands of this one and let it go because that Sam was one of the highest scoring teams I think in
Yeah.
our league until this point, and that was just a rough game. So sorry about you, Sam, but Louis put a little bit of ass
Still
whooping
five and
on.
one though. So,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, not bad, right? That's good to be 5-1. All right, next up. Hey, I put barely not an ass whooping. We have two barely not ass whoopings. If you recall, Tyler, I put a cap of like you got to beat him by 30 or more to be an ass whooping. However, Allison lost by 29 and a half points. And the next team that the next game we'll talk about, same thing, 29 and a half. So they're not technically ass whoopings, but they are right there on the verge. So, how do you think Bob was able to basically get close to whooping Allison's ass?
Yeah, I my condolences to Allison's team. You know, I feel the pain. I've had some terrible teams. So in the past, my team this year is not that great. Hopefully we have a turnaround, but um
But you're not often injured this year. Like
yeah, I mean
she's kind of yeah. You passed the
I played
torch on
Bob
to
and he beat me
Allison.
pretty good. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean
You
he's
passed
got a
the
good
torch.
team. Allison's just like her team name says, pretty injured. So
Yeah, and she got injured again. Dontavian Wicks, another guy like hurt pretty early in the game and went out and wasn't going to help her at all. Um, but Bob got players back. He actually got Mixon and Ingram back, and they both combined for 45 points. That was really helpful for him to get those two
yeah.
back from injury. And I think he got um, the Eagles guys back 2 weeks ago. So he's back to being healthy. And as you said, he's got, I think, the number one scoring team in our league. Like he has the most points in our entire league. Bob does. So he's got a pretty good team there. What do you what do you make
Well, I mean
of
also
yeah, go
Josh
ahead.
Downs had a hell of a game. I watched that Colts game and he played well. So
Yeah, he's going to be a good. And I think no matter which quarterback it is, Downs will be a good asset to have. Pittman, I'm not quite sure. What do you think between Josh Downs and Michael Pittman? Which one would you rather have in fantasy?
right now, I would rather have Josh Downs. Now, with Joe Flacco playing, I would take either, but with Anthony Richardson, I honestly don't know. I don't know if I want to play a Colts receiver with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. So,
I think the only one you can play is
but that's
Alec
just my
Pierce.
opinion.
You can just play Alec Pierce, and it would
Yeah,
be you're taking a chance. Like Alec Pierce becomes your like really volatile boomer bust guy with Anthony Richardson. But otherwise, I agree with you. It's
I
kind of tough to know
he's a
what to
confusing
do.
quarterback.
Well, they're not throwing much
He
with
he can
him.
throw some absolute, I know. He can throw some absolute like piss missiles downfield, but then the short passes he can't make. I don't understand it.
Yeah, he doesn't have much
He's
touch
a
with his
confusing
passes.
quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of rough with him.
Yeah,
But Allison goes down again. She's 0-6. She's hurting bad. Yeah, it just every weekend, just the Sunday does not work out well for her, and she is pretty upset about it. But but Bob
I would be
he gets
too.
but Bob gets a victory, and I would say a much needed and earned victory to be number one in scoring in our league, but be 3-3. That's a really tough spot to be in. So I feel for him in that sense of he's got a good team, like you said, and he finally got a W to kind of go up with that. So we'll move on to the next one because there's another barely not an ass whooping. But Casey's team on a roll. They've won five in a row. He scored almost 115 points, whereas Glenn was just over 85. And the same thing, lost by about 29 and a half points for this one.
Yeah.
What did you see anything from this matchup that, you know, maybe turned the tide
Well,
or made you feel for one or the other?
Harrison Jr. getting injured.
Yeah. Olave did too. So that was a tough part is both of his wide receivers combined for negative 1 point.
Yeah.
Like you can't win when both of your wide receivers do that, and both of them went out with I think both had concussions, if I'm not mistaken, in their games, and they both went out like first
Yeah.
like pretty much right away. So Glenn, sorry about that. Like that's another tough one. He's feeling the effects of injuries too, um but on Casey's side, he made that trade with Zach, and he got Terry McLaurin and Justice Hill in that trade, and that Jaden Daniels Terry McLaurin stack worked out really well for him this week. Got almost 40, I think 47 points from those two guys combined. So that actually worked out really well for him. So nice job and kudos to you on that, Casey. Um, Justice Hill didn't work out, but yeah, Glenn, I just feel for him. That's just a tough way to be. And if I'm not mistaken, Tyler, we'll see here in this upcoming week's matchup. But I'm pretty sure all three of his wide receivers you see here are all injured because even Jaden Reed got injured on the play where he fumbled. He also like rolled his ankle or something. So like all three of them went down with injuries.
Yeah.
Just a tough one. Tough spot to be
That
in.
is
Meow
tough.
meow. Yeah. But Casey gets another victory, 5 in a row. Kudos to you, man. You are truly on a roll right now. Next up, the I just put that sucks, Kyle, because it really does suck, Kyle. I'm sorry. Kyle scored the second most points this week in our league, but he unfortunately played Andy, who scored the most points in our league. And so therefore Kyle loses to go to 2-4 after scoring the second most points. Andy put up just a trouncing. Anything that you noted, like what's something that you
Yeah.
saw in here that made it lean one way or the other for Andy?
Well, Dak Prescott barely going for just over 3 points. Yeah. So
Yeah, and I
that would
noted
be
that
my
too.
takeaway. If he gets, I mean, if he gets close to around 20, we're talking a much closer game. So
True, if
what
he
you
gets his
typically see from
projection,
a
you're
quarterback,
at
especially of his caliber. So
yeah. And against Detroit, who was giving up a lot of points to the quarterback position and to the wide receiver position as well. So very weird one. So yeah, the two quarterbacks. Look, I mean, you see Jordan Love gets almost 36, whereas Dak barely gets over three. There's your difference right there as far as the game goes.
yeah,
Um, Andy, one note I made is like terrible play with putting Tyler Conklin in there. I mean, awful. Just really silly and dumb. I mean, your team would have been much better if you had not played Tyler Conklin. So do better next time, Andy. Lordy. Um, but in all reality, kudos to you, Andy. You got high point of the week. And Tyler, we haven't had no one repeat yet. So for the sixth week in a row, a new team getting high point of the week, which tells you there's a lot of parity.
that's what we want to see.
When are you gonna do that, Tyler? Are you gonna do that next week? Is that you? Tyler, are you there? Oh no. We've lost Tyler. Tyler, are you there?
Hello,
Hello.
I am back. Sorry,
Okay,
this is
nice.
terrible.
No, that's
I wish this
okay.
was working.
I'll blame the Staybridge Suites for that. No, I was saying that Andy
Okay,
is got high point of the week, so kudos to you, Andy. But he is the for 6 weeks in a row we've had a new person win it. So I was just asking you, Tyler, like, are you gonna win it next week then?
I'm hoping, but I haven't really had high scoring games. I mean, I've barely broken over 100, but we'll see. There's always a possibility.
Andy felt the same way earlier in this season, so do not worry, Tyler. Your day is coming. So hopefully that's next week, man. That'd be great. But nice job, Andy.
Yes.
Feeling better about your team right now. Kyle, feel good about your team, dude. I mean, that's a great score. I wish I could have scored that much. Even with Dak only giving you 3 points, you were able to score 132. So nice job, Kyle. All right, next up, the first nail biter that I have down is EJ versus Zach. So this was an interesting matchup going into Monday night. He had Josh Allen, Braylon Allen, and he was able to pick up Ray Davis to go into Monday night. That was a huge pickup for him because Ray Davis went for 21 points. So that was a big time for Zach. Fell just short and lost to EJ by 4.5 points. Any note that you have on this game or something that you saw on either side that you liked or disliked?
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. I saw Braylon Allen actually get a touchdown in the game, but there was a flag, so it was taken away. Had that happened, he probably would have won. So,
That's a great point because yeah, I saw that too, and I can't remember what was the flag for. Was it like a holding or was
yeah,
it a like a
probably that's
legal
usually what it
formation or
is.
something? It's
Yeah,
what?
something like that.
I think a lot of illegal formation calls that are like hurting teams a lot right now, which
Yeah,
which makes me wonder if there's like some rule change or something. I don't know. It seems like that just happens. That's happening a lot more than I would think. I don't know.
they're probably just paying a lot more attention to it. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
know the
But
the motion is something they're paying a lot more attention to because of Miami and like last year was doing a lot of in a sense illegal motion and things that get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle kind of already running full speed in a sense at the time when they were hiking it.
yeah,
But yeah, I did see that get called back, and you're right, that ends up hurting him in that game. But he had some huge games. I mean, it was interesting if you look at the scoring because for EJ, every single player was in double digits except for his defense, which still played great and got him 8 points. So he had a very balanced game amongst everybody. Whereas on Zach's side, it was very boom bust, right? You had Allen for 28, Godwin for 32, Ray Davis for 21, while as the others beside, I mean, Mason got 10 and a half. Unfortunately got injured early in that game because he was rolling in that game, but got injured. But then Braylon Allen 1.4, Ayuk 4.7, Kyle Pitts 8.5, which is what you should do. But very boomer bust on one side and very even scoring on the other. And then EJ just ends up pulling it out. But he was sweating, I know, for a while, especially when that touchdown happened. Like you said, EJ was probably like, what?
yeah.
But nice job. Way to pull it off, EJ. And they both go to 3-3 after that matchup. But last but not least, Tyler, is our matchup. So you took me down, and I was fearful, man. I knew it. I knew Brees was going to go for over 20 against that defense because Buffalo has a terrible defense. I don't their defense is not good. And so knowing that Brees is going in and all you needed a little bit over 20 points at the time, I did not feel good. And it was not simply a woe is me, oh, I'm not going to win. It was truly like, no,
Yeah.
Buffalo gives up a lot of points to the running back, and Brees is one of the best in the league, so I did not feel comfortable. How did you feel?
Well,
Go ahead.
so I was paying attention to that Cincinnati game, and I noticed you had Chase Brown, and then I saw Zach Moss had fumbled, and I was like, they're not going to play him the rest of the game, and they didn't, and it was all Chase Brown from there. So I was really sweating after that, but then Brees Hall stepped up for me in the end, so we prevailed.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the game changer, like I had mentioned in the previous recap. Like, hey, that will actually determine the game, and it almost did. But you're right. Like, and then once it was at where it was at, I was like, oh, I got a chance, but Brees could easily do this. So I think we were both feeling similarly about it.
Yeah.
You want to say hi?
Hi, Tyler.
Hi. Hi, Tage. How are you?
Good.
How was
I'm
your T-ball
in
season?
kindergarten.
You're in kindergarten. Oh, wow. You're growing up too quick. Slow down.
No,
Right?
I can't.
No, always too fast, right? You're super fast. what did we do over the weekend? Or what
We
did we do yesterday?
we went to the pumpkin patch yesterday.
Oh yeah, pumpkin patch.
I love it.
Yeah, what'd you do at the pumpkin patch?
I
Oh
went
yeah.
down the slide and I swinged on the swings with Mama.
And she jumped on one of those big old
Oh
like
yeah.
air pillow jumping things. You know what I'm that you
Oh
see?
yeah. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good
That's
time.
good.
That was really fun. We got some pumpkins. You did some obstacle courses and playground and ride. I mean, all sorts of stuff to do. Corn maze. So kind of did it all yesterday. Had a good adventure day. We
Hmm.
went to the Brat Stop in Wisconsin. So anybody's been to the Brat Stop, you know all about it. Oh, what a good place. Yeah, yeah. You want to say bye to Tyler?
Bye, Tyler.
I love you.
Love you.
All right, I'll see you before you go to bed.
Hi, Tage. Love you
Bye.
too.
I think she's going to tell every new person on here that she's in kindergarten. Every time, say, I'm in
That's
kindergarten.
fine.
Yeah, so
He
it's
wants
wonderful.
everybody to know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a good matchup. The only thing I'll say on my end is this was a week where I wish I had gone with my gut um, for multiple leagues, but I wanted to take Mike Evans out and I was going to put Romeo
Yeah.
Dobbs in. I didn't trust Watson because he was coming off an injury and I wasn't quite sure, but Dobbs felt right. It felt like squeaky wheel will get the grease kind of thing. And I knew that Mike Evans never does well against Marshawn Lattimore. And so in my head, but in my head, I'm like, am I really going to take out Mike Evans for Romeo Dobbs? Like that just doesn't feel right. And so I'm just
Yeah.
not going to do it. That just it tells me. But if I had, I would have won.
Now
So
you wish you had.
yeah, it's like sometimes you got
Yeah,
to
I
go with your
saw both of them went off on your bench. So
gut.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Watson, I just wasn't quite sure because I didn't even know if he'd play. He was still questionable. But Dobbs, when he heard all about it, I was like, okay, seems like they've gotten that figured out, and squeaky wheel might get the grease. But it is what it is. My other league, I was going to
Yeah.
bench Marvin Harrison Jr. because I just didn't feel great about it, and I was going to put in either Devonta Smith or Brock Bowers. It's a weird league. Um, but even if I had done that, I would have lost either way for that one, so it doesn't really matter in the end for that one. But that was another one where Marvin Harrison had a good matchup, like against the Packers. So I thought I'll just keep him in. He's got a good matchup, but unfortunate stuff happened for him in that game. So we'll see if he even plays this week, man. All right. Well, we are moving on. We are done with the matchups for this week. Kudos to those who got a victory. Tyler, you got a W. Unfortunately, you're still at the bottom of the West, but you're right there. I think the West
Right.
is very close. We'll get to
You know
that a
what?
little bit later, but you
I'm
guys are
I'm
all kind
happy
of
with the win.
right, and you guys are kind of
So
bunched up there. So I think like the next week or two, like you're going to start seeing a lot of jockeying for position and movement there. But now we're going to move on. It is our week six sponsor break. It's got to get paid. Got to continue to pay Dr. Sam. Make sure he gets his dollar bills, y'all. So had to do what I had to do to get this going. And Tyler, I appreciate you helping us out. Um,
oh no.
Tyler was born with a wrench in his hand and motor oil in his veins. He's the calmest
Yes, sir.
cucumber on the tree, too, so he can handle any bumps in the road. At Tyler's Auto Body, we know that anything that can happen will happen. If your car looks like the one pictured because a young whippersnapper hit it, or you let Joanne drive it, be sure to call Tyler's Auto Body. We always give free estimates or your money back. Reckon we'll see you soon. All right. Thank you, Tyler, for sponsoring this week. I know it's tough with your current schedule up there in Canada, but it's nice that you're helping the FFFL as well as getting maybe a little bit of promotion for your business. You know what I mean?
Always here to help anytime.
All right. Well, now let's listen to Dr. Sam tell us about this week's injuries, as there were way too many. Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
All right, week 6 injury report. Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver for the Saints, had a knee injury, left, I think, in the fourth quarter. Undetermined right now how bad the severity is. I think he's undergoing other testing, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver for the Cardinals, had a concussion. Probably like a 60% chance he sits. It looks like they're kind of taking a little bit slow this year for concussions. Jordan Mason, running back for the 49ers, had an AC sprain, tried to go again, and then left for the rest of the game. He'll likely play with a dip in production and probably a dip in the amount of snaps he takes. Chris Olave, also with a concussion, likely will sit this week. Travis Etienne, Tajay Spears, and Jerome Ford all had hamstring injuries. Mild to moderate, probably 2 to 3 weeks, with a re-aggravation rate a little bit higher after they return. But it's kind of individual for the guy. Just depends on how bad the injury actually is. So you just got to check up practice plans. Dontavian Wicks, Packers wide receiver, kind of an undisclosed shoulder injury. If he does play, it'll probably be a dip in production for him a little bit. Hayden Hurst, a LA Chargers tight end, had a groin injury. So similar with those soft tissue injuries, like when those happen, they'll probably be out probably 2 to 3 weeks. But just have to kind of check the practice reports to see if they're participating or if they're not. And also similar with tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Goedert, also with a hamstring injury, will likely be kind of week to week moving forward.
All right. I felt like there was a lot more injuries, which he covered, I think, a lot in a short amount of time is really what happened there. But as he mentioned, like those soft tissue injuries seem to keep popping up for a lot of people. And those are ones that linger, man. Tyler, you're a youngin'. I don't know if you get many soft tissue injuries. But as you get older, man, it gets a little tougher in them streets. But because of that, we got to make
That's what I hear.
adjustments. That's what I hear. It's like I don't know. I heal so quickly as a young man that I don't actually know if that's what happens. Well, I'm here
Not
to
yet.
tell you. I'm here to tell you it does happen. I mean, they just lingers. All right. Well, we have some injuries. There really weren't any like injuries to QBs that I'm aware of. However, there are bye weeks. There's also maybe guys that just simply got benched and you got them on your team. But now we're going to get into the waiver wire. So the QB side of it, if you needed one, maybe you don't like yours. Maybe you just don't even like your quarterback. Anybody on here that you would look at to use as a replacement for your current quarterback?
I would only look at Herbert or Rodgers, really. Everyone else, probably not. Um,
I
Andy
I
Dalton
like
had
Drake.
like one good game,
Yeah, that's true.
but
Andy
so maybe.
Dalton, Andy Dalton and Drake May have really good matchups. Drake May did not look good in the beginning of the game, but he looked better as it went on, and he also kind of had to throw the ball a lot. So his fantasy day turned out pretty good for Drake May. But they're going to be over in London. I never like those games; those are always tough to know what you
Yeah,
should do. And Andy Dalton's kind of come back to earth a little bit in his, but the Washington Commanders defense sucks, and so maybe he does pretty well. But otherwise, to your point, I'm kind of in the same boat. You got Justin Herbert, maybe Aaron Rodgers. I just hate the man so much that I don't want to ever have him on my team. That's just how it goes. I mean, certain players I
I'm
literally just
I'm a
won't do it.
I'm a big Aiden O'Connell fan, but I wouldn't pick him in fantasy personally. But just because he went to Purdue, that's the only reason. But
Okay, I didn't know that he was Purdue. I don't
yeah,
watch enough college, so I don't know anything about college. So he was a Purdue guy for all 4 years.
yeah. he only played for two, I believe.
Okay.
Um, he was like a fifth year senior, but
Okay. But I've liked him.
got us to the Big Ten championship. That yeah,
He was
he's just
aiding the Boilermakers is what it sounds like.
yeah,
But I
he's
like
great in
him. I mean,
college. I
these
don't know how.
how he's in the
Go
NFL.
ahead.
He's done okay. He's not
Yeah,
great. They don't
yeah,
have the weapons there. I mean, Devontae Adams was just traded to the Jets, so
yeah,
that's one less guy. But I don't think Aiden played with Devontae last year, but he hasn't been able to play with him this year because Devontae was out with the hamstring injury. But I mean, Brock Bowers has looked good with Aiden O'Connell at the helm. And I think it was kind of tough last week because I think he started last week was his first start of this season,
yeah. And
and
they
all he had was
did
Brock
not do well.
Bowers. Yeah, but all he had was Brock Bowers. He
Yeah,
didn't like Jacoby Myers was out injured, and he'll be their new number one guy. And who knows what'll happen there. But but yeah, not
true.
much to write home about here in the QB front. But Herbert, I like him. I It's just they don't ever throw the ball much, and so you don't know what to do with that guy. But I like him as an actual quarterback, and I dislike Aaron Rodgers. So I'm saying just Justin Herbert's the guy. But anywho,
Yeah,
all right, now we're on the running backs, and we actually have a few on here, and it's a big list. It's one of the bigger lists this week. I'm not saying I like many of them, but hey, they're on
yeah.
there. Anybody on here that you might like or might play?
I really couldn't tell you much about any of these running backs, but
Oh, I was like,
um,
who the F is Julius Chestnut? He sounds like a made up Madden
yeah,
character.
he does. Sounds like some dude from like Arthurian times or something, but
Right. My name is Julius Chestnut the
the great
third.
Julius Chestnut.
Yeah. And he's taking over for like Tajay Spears, as you heard Dr. Sam say. He's injured. I don't think that Julius touches the ball much in the game. I don't know unless they're still going to deploy it that way. Um,
You know,
Travis Etienne,
I've seen a lot of hype around Carson Steele. I don't know if it's true hype, but I guess
it is. Oh,
he's
the
a
hype
legend
is
in
true.
Indiana from Ball State. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the hype is true. It doesn't make him good. It just means that he is getting hype, but he's not. He has not performed well.
yeah.
Um, they did have a bye week,
Okay.
so maybe he's coming off of that ready to play. But he fumbled the ball early in his like his start that he got, and so now it's like Kareem Hunt's
Yeah,
backfield.
that's not going to do it. That's not going to get it done.
No, but what I will say, there are like backups in a sense. So you might want some handcuffs like Kamani Vidal. He had a big run that made it look really good. At the very bottom here, I put the Cardinals guys because James Conner is actually hurt, if I'm not mistaken. And these might be, if you have James Conner and you're trying to play him, the guys at the bottom might be your, just like what Zach did this past week with going to Ray Davis. These two guys might be what you have to do if you're trying to play James Conner and all of a sudden he's out on Monday. So just something to be aware of. But yeah, it is rough in the our running back streets. I am not a big fan. So good luck to those who need one, which we all do. You know, we all need them. All right, next up
Yeah.
is wide receivers. Anybody on here that you might be interested in?
Again, I don't even know these wide receivers' names, but never heard of them. I've heard
Uh,
Gabe Davis, I've heard of, so maybe pick him up, but don't take my advice.
yeah, he had a big game, so I think it's like vaulted him. Here's what I will say: the chart. This is really kind of weird if you think about it. So Justin Herbert was on in waivers to be picked up as a quarterback. Now they had a bye week last week, so it makes some sense. Was it last week they had a bye week, or maybe it was the week before? I don't know, but Can't recall. But anyways, so I'm saying it because Justin Herbert, the quarterback of that team, was on waivers. All of their wide receivers on waivers, like all three of these guys, because Andy dropped Lad McConkey. I will say I like Lad McConkey. So if you need a wide receiver, I like him. He's getting a lot of targets. They're going against the Arizona Cardinals, who are very bad at the defensive side of the ball. So that could work out. Another one could be Michael Wilson for the Arizona Cardinals because if
What
Marvin
a
Harrison
name.
Jr. is out, then maybe Michael Wilson gets a lot more passes. I don't know, but I'm kind of with you. Like, not a whole lot to write home about here, and good friggin' luck, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, Trey Tucker for
Yeah.
Vegas without Devonte Adams, maybe he gets but he's a very boom bust guy. So I would say if you're looking for more consistency, Lad McConkey, I would say is your man. Other even Ray McLeod for Atlanta could be that kind of guy, but these other guys are really more boom bust players and take your pick. I don't know. I don't know. We're not doing so well on the waiver part of this, Tyler. I think it's I'm blaming the waivers. There's not very much out
Yeah.
there. All right, last but not least, tight ends. The nice, strong bouteilles of the waivers. Anybody here that you like? I mean, there's a couple good point total projections on here. Maybe they're good, but anybody you like on this list?
Um, you know, I think I had Hunter Henry last year. Now, New England sucks, but he had a couple good games for me. So maybe him. I don't know how he is this year, but
About the
um,
same. He'll get you. I think some big
and maybe
games here and there, but
Njoku.
otherwise, yeah. Joku, I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Amari Cooper just got traded. How do you feel about that? He got traded to Buffalo, so now he's paired with Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm actually happy about that because that will help me in the receiving area,
Yes, I
especially
like
if I
that a
can't play
lot.
Pittman because Richardson's playing. So
Yes, I like that a lot. So
yeah,
why I
that
mentioned
helps me
that
out quite a
is
bit.
to me it means that now Njoku might be the number one receiving option in Cleveland. So could be a good guy to pick up. They're a bad offense, but he'll get targeted. I mean, he'll get the ball thrown to him, and Cincinnati is not a good defense. So maybe Njoku, as you were kind of mentioning, could be the guy. And Hunter Henry, I kind of agree with you. Like, kind of a boom bust guy. He seems to, if Jacksonville is the worst defense in the NFL, that's who they're playing. So if you think they're going to score touchdowns,
Yeah,
Hunter Henry's a guy that they look to a lot in the red zone and in the end zone. So I like your two options, man. I'm going with them. Even Kate Otten, man. If you want another guy who's going to get you, he might get you those 8 points. He's not going to get you much more, but he might get you those. So those top three guys, I'd go there. That's where I go. Otherwise, leave it. Don't look at these other players. Not good. All right.
yeah,
Well, that wraps up our waiver wire on this end. Thank you for helping me through it. One of the worst of the year so far. Only week 6 and waiver wire is not doing so
yeah.
great. Trade Central. I'm just going to put her here all the time if
A
I got
great
no
photo.
trades. Yeah, I mean, she's ready to wheel and deal. Hey, ready to wheel and deal. So anybody got people, I think she'd be willing to trade to get multiple assets and you might be able to get like a Malik Neighbors or something out of her if you're willing to give up a couple good players. If you're looking to maybe level up and get her some more depth in her roster, I think she'd be willing to do that. Stuff like that. So if you find somebody on her team that you think is good and you like, maybe take a stab at it, throw her some offers. She's in the dump, so you might be able to actually like get it for cheaper, because she's just feeling that low about her options right now. So consider it. I'm just saying. Sorry, Allison, but I'm going to use your photo every time if I don't have a trade. I offered you a trade. Did you take a look at it?
I did. I gotta
Got to
I gotta
analyze it.
respond to that, but
Is that a yes or a no?
I won't answer that on here, but
Okay. We'll see. You were in Canada, having a steak at the time, so you're not in a good space to look at trades. All right, now we're getting to Javante or Godwin. Man, Godwin, what a week. He went off. Oh, hi,
uh-oh.
Tyler. Hello, Tyler.
Hello?
Yep,
Hello?
we're here. Yep.
Sorry. Broke up again.
No, it's interesting because you're not breaking up at all on my end, which is the interesting part. So if you notice that it starts to break up a little bit, just do
Okay.
something weird, do something weird and funky.
I'll just
Um,
I'll just wave.
I noticed that.
Okay.
But yeah, now we're at Javante or Godwin. Obviously, still Godwin. Godwin had a huge game this past week. Once again, Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore is going to shut him down, so they're just going to keep throwing to Godwin during those New Orleans Saints games. And really, it was like that big play, that big touchdown where I don't know if New Orleans just decided to stop trying to tackle people. Did you see that Godwin touchdown at all? Oh, wave. He's not there. Okay. So Tyler obviously has not seen that Godwin touchdown. That's what I'm taking from his wave.
I have not.
Well, let me describe it to you. It was basically a check down to Godwin for like a 3 or 4 yard pass that Godwin then broke like 4 or 5 like arm tackles. And at least two of them, I'm like,
Okay.
how do you not tackle him? Like, how did you not get him? And he just broke him for like a 55-yard touchdown run pass. So yeah, but he ended up gaining like 3 points for average points just in that. And then Javante lost a point in average points per game. Didn't really lose position rank much, but Godwin up to number two again. I don't know how he's not number one. I don't even know who's number one right now. I'm not paying that much attention, Tyler. So, but maybe we'll find out here in a moment. It was Nico until he got hurt. So that sucks. But anyways, it's definitely Godwin.
Yeah.
He will win. It's at a point now, Tyler, where I know that when Zach and I made this like wager, it was like 15 games. Like they had to at least play 15 games each in order for it to count. I'm just gonna count it for Godwin. Like I don't think if Godwin gets hurt next week, I'm gonna say that Godwin was the better player. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it is
Yeah.
bad. It is bad. Javante, I need you to do something, man. All right. Comment of the week. I chose the whole whenever you were basically going to win, like, and it was obvious at that point that you were going to beat me with Brees Hall. And Bob started the one of us chants, and then everybody else started chiming in. That was my favorite comments of the week. What about you? Did you have any comments of the week that you enjoyed? Oh, Tyler, the Staybridge. The Staybridge Wi-Fi. You needed to pay for the
I
upgraded
did. I
internet,
needed
Tyler.
I needed to fork over the $10.
You knew we were doing this. You should have paid the
I
$10
didn't think it would be this bad.
just for tonight. Just for this night. And you just say, hey, I just need the upgrade for tonight.
You
I'm
know,
on an
I, I
important
I'm gonna
podcast.
have to make it up, and we're gonna have to do another one some other time. But
Hey, is the Wi-Fi at your own apartment pretty good? Yep, this is where we go. Is the Wi-Fi okay? We're not gonna ask. Is the Wi-Fi at your apartment pretty good?
oh yeah, my Wi-Fi at my apartment is great, but
Not at the Stay
not
Bridge
at
in
the State
Canada.
Bridge.
No, the Canadian Stay
No.
Bridge, not good. Okay, well we're moving on because let's see where we are at after 6 weeks of play. Um, Sam and I still at the top, but we both took a loss, and now everybody has at least one loss. Casey on a winning streak, 5 in a row. So he's doing well. With that, I was able to gain first place overall. So even though I lost, I technically took first place. So that part's nice. But Bob is leading everybody in points scored at 727. I'm right behind him at 724. We are the only two above 700, but right after us would be Sam and Casey. And then moves. I always like to see who's doing the moving. Bob is catching up to Louis on the number of moves being made. I mean, Bob is like trying to like race Louis now, I think. Louis has 22 moves made. Bob has 18. Andy is the only Andy and then myself are the only other ones in double digits. I made a lot of moves apparently this week. Um, just to do something. I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, it's not looking great on some of the moves that I made. I'll just say that. But this is where we stand. Allison, your playoff percentage is at 2% to make the playoffs. That is not good, but you are not out. So we're saying there is a chance. And Tyler, your
Mhm.
playoff percentage keeps inching upward, man. You keep going up on potential to make the playoffs.
That's what I want to see. Oh,
Not
I
doing
want to
bad. I
be in
mean,
this year.
yeah, exactly. You're trying to get in it. I mean, you're right there, man. Andy had that huge week that vaulted him ahead of you, but you're right there. You're not too far behind Andy or EJ, and for that matter. So lots of movement, a little bit of some stir ups there. Casey getting back number two and tied with Sam over there in the West. Very close matchups in the West. I know there's two at 5-1, and then next are 3-3, but at least two wins for every team in that division. Whereas in the East, a little more diversity. A 5-win team, a 4-win team, a 3-win team, two-win teams, and a 0-win team. So lots of parity in the East this year. Okay, now we'll get into next week's matchups. Unfortunately, most people had not set their lineup, so I can't tell you what's actually going to happen with these. But we have Allison at 0-6 versus EJ. I thought it'd be clever to say EJ should be neighborly because Allison should hopefully get Malik Neighbors back this week. She's hoping for that. Um, Bigsby looks like he's going to start instead of Travis Etienne, so that's good. But what do you think of Brock Bowers this year, Tyler? Tyler, you there? He's waving again, everybody just
Breaking up
listening.
again.
Yeah, now I hear. So, what do you think of Brock Bowers this year? Oh my
What do I think?
gosh.
I
He's a number two tight end and he's a rookie. Did you watch him at Georgia at all? No,
there's
you're not.
no. I pay attention to one football team and they're terrible. So in college anyway. But
The Boilermakers not doing well.
so
Well, that's all right. But Brock
but
Bowers, he's
for a
big time.
rookie, that's pretty nuts if you're the number two tight end. So
Yeah. And now he's like the only target for Aiden O'Connell, for your man from Purdue. So hopefully I'm hoping Aiden
yeah,
just throws him the ball like 15 times a game. Just get that guy the ball
let's
somehow. I
hope
don't know. But EJ looks like he's got a major lead
somebody's got to step
on,
up.
yeah. EJ's gonna, I think, win again. Allison's got, like I said, Malik Neighbors will be in there. Tank Bigsby will be in there. So the projection will be a little bit different. If Devin Singletary doesn't play for the Giants, Tyrone Tracy will be in there. So maybe she has some more upward mobility here than what you're seeing on the screen, but it is not looking good for her at this moment. The interesting part is that Brock Purdy is slated to get more points than Patrick Mahomes. So that's just weird. Because in real football, Patrick Mahomes is much better. So just interesting. All right, next up. Um, Glenn has Anthony Richardson. I believe
Yeah,
The Colts are playing the Dolphins this week. Are we expecting Anthony Richardson to do some big things?
I I I can't say yes or no, but I would stick with Caleb Williams. Or do
Well,
they have
he
the
can't.
bye?
He's
Never
on
mind.
bye, so he has to
Um,
play Anthony Richardson. Does he
yeah.
play this week? Is Anthony Richardson going to
Well,
play?
maybe maybe pick up Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have to do that. That's actually very true. Um, but I'm hoping Anthony Richardson plays. Miami could be a team that, oh, Tyler. Oh, Staybridge Suites. Oh my. Now let's get to the point.
Okay. I, I lost you after the Herbert comment. Where did we go from there?
I just said I'm Richardson, they're playing the Dolphins. Dolphins aren't that great on defense. I'm hoping Richardson plays for him and
Yeah.
has a Richardson from last year type of game, because I
So,
think that's what Glenn's going to need from it. On the other side, Sam, I mean, he gets his Miami Dolphins players back,
yep.
so that's good. Um, I would say Glenn might throw in Alec Pierce with some Anthony Richardson, get some boom bust plays. Sam's going to bring Achan back, maybe some Tyreek Hill. Who knows? So we'll see how that goes for them. But should be an interesting matchup. But Glenn is going to need an Anthony Richardson miracle this week to I think take this one. All right, next up we have Kyle versus Bob. Bob has the highest projected point total on the week, but Kyle has played very well and his team has done well. So this should be, to me, uh, probably the matchup of the week because they both are very high scoring teams, but they have not won, even though they're scoring very well. So something's got to give here. Who you picking? You picking Bob or you picking Kyle?
I'm gonna have to go
Uh,
with Bob here,
okay.
just based on his crazy scoring numbers. I know the record doesn't show it, but second in scoring. So,
No, he's first in scoring. He's number one. I'm number two. I just happen to
or
have the
first in
wins.
scoring.
Yeah, I just happen to have the wins
You're
to go
number.
along with it. He's getting
Okay.
unlucky. But but yeah, it's very interesting matchups. So it'll be I think like I said, this is the matchup of the week right here. Good luck to both. You know what? I'm gonna pick the opposite of what you said. I'm gonna go Kyle, just because you said Bob, but it could go either way in this one. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
Bob's been putting up a lot of points, and Kyle's team is on the up and up. So even though, once again, like you said, their records aren't showing it, but two good teams right here. Um, then Louis is facing Andy, and they work together. So I think work will be a little awkward this week as they prepare to face each other. I hope that they put a little wager on this. If you were working with someone that you played fantasy football with and you were facing them, what kind of wager would you put on your matchup?
Uh, Probably a case of beer,
Okay, I'm in for case of beer. Yeah.
or say I don't know. If you want to get crazy, maybe $50. I don't know, but
Okay. I'd say lunch. You got to buy me lunch like next the
yeah,
following week or something like that. So maybe one of them should
that's
do that.
reasonable.
Yeah, they got to buy the other one lunch. And we're talking Cambridge, Canada lunch, steak and shrimp type stuff.
Oh
That's
yeah.
happening. We want to make sure the other person falls asleep at his desk. Yeah, that's the kind of lunch that needs to be purchased for them. But but yeah, this should be an interesting matchup, and I don't know if either team's going to change their defense. The Packers defense has played well, but the Texans have a pretty good offense. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And for the Buccaneers, they're facing Baltimore that has another great offense there. So maybe they'll both change their defense a little bit. Obviously, Louis needs a tight end. Maybe he'll look to get Njoku. Who knows? But this will be an interesting matchup on the week. And good luck at work, you guys. Don't do anything weird.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely do something weird.
Definitely. You want weird stuff. All right, now we're going on I play Casey. So don't tase me, bro. Um, but yeah, me and Casey's on a roll. I am definitely worried because that Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin stack has looked real nice. And I am not prepared to face
Yeah.
it. But I do get Kyron back this week, and Kyron has been a beast so far this year. So that's gonna be help. That's kind of helpful. So hopefully it goes my way, so I have some sort of bragging rights. But I have not done well against Casey in the past, so not looking forward to it. Anything that you see here that you like or dislike for one or the other?
Um, I mean, like you said, the lineups aren't really set. Looks like he's got a
I know
player
it's kind of
on
tough.
bye, but uh,
Yeah, and it's
I
Rico
don't know.
Dowdle, so who
We'll
gives a
see.
shit? Is how I
Like,
feel. I don't know. I dropped him, and
see if Garrett Wilson plays well for him, but
yeah, that's
I
true
don't know.
because
He's kind of
Devontae
streaky.
Adams will be there now. But
Yeah,
people think that might take some time. But Devontae and
I feel like Jaden Daniels is a lock to play well. He's a rookie, but he's playing great.
they're facing Carolina, which is like one of the worst defenses in the league. So yeah, that one worries me a lot.
Yeah,
Like his matchup for McLaurin and Daniel scares me, whereas my matchup for my stack of Kyler Murray and Trey McBride worries me on the opposite way because it's like the Chargers are a good defense, and so I don't really love my QB tight end matchup where I do like his, stack that he's got. So
yeah,
should be interesting battle there. I'm definitely changing my defense. I got to figure something out on that side, that front, but um I didn't really see any defenses I loved in free agency, so we'll see how
yeah.
that goes as well. But good luck, Casey. Hope you lose. That's just how that goes. Last but not least is your matchup, man. Um, I noticed all of Zach's like all three of his running backs are questionable, so you might be hoping at least one or two of those guys misses. That would be very nice
Yeah.
for you if that happened. What are you gonna do about DeAndre Swift? What you gonna do about that?
Well, he's either getting traded or I got to place somebody else. So,
He may have been part of that trade offer that
um,
I threw out there. Maybe.
yeah. Um, I mean, my only alternative, I think, my bench is Madison, and he actually had a decent game last week,
He
but that's
did.
just because O'Connell was playing, I think. So,
Well, I think
um,
Zamir White was
I don't
out.
know.
Like
Maybe,
Zamir White
maybe I
was
play
not.
him, maybe I don't. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm
What about Moss against Cleveland? Do you feel good about that?
so you're gonna have to repeat that. It completely broke up.
I was saying, what about Zach Moss against Cleveland? Like, how do you feel about
Well,
that one?
I it seems like they want to bounce between him and Chase Brown, so I don't know. We'll have
Yeah,
to see. It seems like it's dependent on who plays well game to game on who's gonna get the most touches. So
yeah, they are doing kind of that the hot hand approach, as they call it, where it seems whoever's
yeah,
doing better at the time is who they're going to kind of roll with. What I will say is it does seem like if the game's close or they're winning, they're going to go like Zach Moss's way. Whereas if they're down um, more, throwing more, they might go Chase Brown's way. So it kind of depends on the game script too. Oh gosh. But right now it's looking towards Zach's way, but because you got the bye week for DeAndre Swift, who's also played well. I mean, he's done well for you the past few weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
he's had a major turnaround. So
yeah. And they played some easier defenses, so maybe he's a guy where it's like if they have an easier defense that they're playing against, that he's a good one to play. Because in the beginning, or it could just be that he's getting better with their offense. I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell with him because I know in the beginning he was not doing well, but they were facing tougher competition in the beginning.
yeah,
So their entire team is kind of getting better at this point. Um, but yeah, I put those two things down as my notes of all of Zach's running backs are questionable, and you have a question mark at the flex spot because you could move Moss to your running back position, and maybe you have a wide receiver that you want to put into your flex instead. You mentioned Madison did well, and I think they have a decent opponent this week. Las Vegas does. So that could be another spot that you do as well. But Zach's got a pretty high point total. I think it's the third highest projection of the week. So that's just tough to kind of go against. And he's got some decent matchups that he's going against as well. Although Kansas City is a tough team, a tough defense. So Mason and Ayuk could be challenges, and he's got to find out how he wants to play that. Yeah, God, it's not good. But the good news is, Tyler, we are done with the weekly recap. Um, how do you feel? I mean, I know you had bad internet there in Canada land, but I mean, hopefully you feel good, and you said you want to do another, so I'm all for that. I'm all for doing another
I do.
recap with
I
you.
want to I want to do one on a stable internet connection where I can understand everything you're saying. So,
It does make it more of a challenge if you can't
but I feel
understand
like
what
it
I'm
went
saying.
well considering the circumstances.
Yeah, and now you got to get a little bit of rest for because obviously you're going to go learn a bunch of stuff tomorrow with your Canada
Yeah,
friends. I
exactly.
also I also noticed you got a nice haircut there. You kind of shaved the sides,
Yeah,
but
I
less.
had a major afro going on,
Did you
so
get it for the Canada
I had
trip?
to I had to get a cut before I came. I didn't want to look like it.
No,
One
I
could
mean,
say that, yes, that was part of my motivation to go get it done.
okay. Um, does Reagan? Do
So,
you get to see Reagan very often?
yeah, we see each other, try to see each other once a week on the weekends,
Okay,
Saturday and Sunday. But she'll be in Louisville this weekend, so I'm not going to see her. She's going to visit her sister. She goes to school
okay.
there, so
Oh, Louisville's fun. I mean, it seems that's a pretty decent place. Got some
yeah.
interesting areas there. I want to say that, I guess.
I know what you mean, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's all I'll
So,
say.
but yeah, I'll probably go home.
Oh, okay. You're gonna visit your mom. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I haven't been home in a while. She's in Mexico this week, actually. They finally went on their, I think it's their honeymoon they're going on.
Okay,
But
but they're coming back for the weekend.
yeah, so yeah, they'll be back on the weekend. I'm gonna go see some of my friends back home too. So
That'll be nice, man. Especially while
yeah,
because with the lady friend, like a lot of times you feel like, oh, we don't see each other, so you're gonna like see them like the whole time. You don't really get to end up seeing your friends, but now she's gonna be away. Like when
yeah,
when Reagan's
exactly.
away, the boys will play, kind of deal. Is kind of what you got going
You
there.
exactly, you know it.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Well, good for you, man. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy the rest of Canada. Uh, I mean, like I said, try poutine. Just find a poutine somewhere. Make sure you enjoy that. You gotta do that. I don't know there's anything else in Canada that I would tell you that you gotta try. I don't really know what else they're really
Okay,
known for. Tim Hortons,
I
I
don't either.
guess, but
Yeah,
you can
those
get
are everywhere.
Yeah, but you can get that in like Michigan, just ask Sam,
Yeah.
ask Dr. Sam about that one. But yeah, poutine it up. That's my best advice. Poutine it up and get to know your work colleagues more. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good, Tyler. Well, thank you
I'll
for
try
doing
it.
this. Yeah, thank you for doing the podcast
Thanks
with
for
me.
having me. Of
Of course. And then I'll have you
course.
on here in a little bit when you have stable internet again.
Sounds great.
All right, sounds good. All right, much love to you, man.
You too.
Peace.